Good morning. Start of day 14 and the final day. Got up at 4. I think it's about 6:30 now. So I've been crunching for a little while. And we're making alright time. Legs are freezing. I'm in. Don't know if you can tell. Can you see down there? Hang on. Let's do this. Look. In shorts. Ah, my God. Ah, shorts. Too cold. I have 3 layers up top. No layers down the bottom. What's going on? Anyway, making alright time. The start was nothing but boring, so wasn't much to show. And then we got into the reserves, and we've been doing these single track runs through the back of estates and little wilderness areas, so it's been okay. It's a bit different. So we're just going to chug along today. 28 k's. We'll see how we go. I'd like to have it done by the middle of the day. That's my goal. That's my goal. At that point in time, it's all about getting home, all that stuff. So, because this shower is beyond belief needed. Should see my feet. I'll take a photo and I'll stick them in the end of this film so you can all enjoy what my feet had to go through to get to the end. Alrighty, catch ya. See ya. G'day all. Obviously this isn't the end of day 14, it's actually 2 weeks later. We've had 2 weeks, I guess, to reflect on how the walk was, how the track was. Overall, I enjoyed it. Obviously there's bits that were bad, obviously there are bits that are great, everything in between. But overall, it was good. I think I held up a lot better on this trail than I did on the previous ones, and it just made for more enjoyable walk. It was pretty good. I've got to say, it was pretty good. Looking back, you know, it's type 2 fun for sure, right? I wasn't enjoying some of it at some point, but looking back now, yeah, look, on a whole, I enjoyed the whole thing. So, you know, that's great. The trail itself, you know, Hume and Hovell have a lot cut out for them to do. I mean, they've done a great job with their bridges. Anywhere I saw where they'd done trail maintenance, they had done a great job. But going forward, their biggest challenge is most definitely number one, the blackberries, because the blackberries are on so much of the track, so nearly every bit of single trail they had blackberries, and they'll need to look into the fact that the water sources are now starting to disappear to blackberries, so that once you get down to about Blowering Dam, you're starting to struggle to find water. I mean, you've got the dam, but if you're not using the dam and you're using creeks, even going forward past there, up past Buddon Hut, all those, you're now struggling to get access to the water because the blackberries are starting to dominate. So that's something they need to look at, because they're quite large, you know, big fields of the stuff in some places. And anywhere there's water, obviously birds love water, and you know, they've dumped the blackberries there. So it's at some places you just can't make water. You can hear it and you know you need it, and you just can't access it now. So so that's probably their big one. That's their big one, trying to keep on top of that, on the amount of single trail they have with all the blackberries they do have there. That's going to be something that's going to be really tough for them to keep on top of. Probably the second one is the blowdowns. The blowdowns are in the hundreds, absolute hundreds when I did the track. There were days that you just were slow and you just fought blowdowns. Coming down to Paddy's River Dam that day preceding, coming into it, so from Buddon Hut down to there, was just so much blowdown. It was crazy. And then coming out of Mundaroo had to be the biggest concentration of it, 5 kilometres, and there had to be over 20 of them. And some of them were tough because they were canopies, not just the trunk. So that's something they'll have to look into. They're probably the two biggest things that they needed to, you know, as for trail maintenance, that's the two biggest things. So generally on the track, water was actually quite good to get, because there was quite large. I mean, I'm here at Glenbrook Creek at the moment, and Mikalong was a lot like this, and you followed Mikalong for quite a bit, so you had access to this sort of water source quite often. So where it disappeared was after you left Lanky's campground. When you leave there, water, it becomes quite sparse, very sketchy if you can even get it. From there to the end, seriously tough to hit water at that point in time. You did not really travel along a major creek or river from that point on. Lanky's was the last one, and then you just would cross the little stream if you're lucky, and towards the Albury end, it's just a lot drier down there. So much drier down there that nothing is running. There's no water, so water is hard down that end. So, and their campgrounds are hard down that end. So up the north end they have a lot of campgrounds reasonably placed, so you can play a leapfrog game, but you also know that they're near water, so you can always access water, so you know that's a given there at the north end. But effectively from after Lanky's on, you're relying on tanks if there's tanks, because the creeks are dry, and some campgrounds don't even have any of that stuff. So and there are big gaps there, big gaps. That's something they need to look into. Now, being forced into caravan parks, I believe, is not the right way to go. Burrinjuck waters, okay, that's fine, because we are getting a boat ride. To me personally, they should just be taking a track around the east side and bringing you across the bridge at Wee Jasper and straight up the hill through the town of Wee Jasper, and that's it. And you don't require that. I think that's just an unneeded bit of logistics you have to deal with, but it's there. Okay, that's fine, and you only have to pay $50. That's reasonable for a stay and a boat ride, so I'll have no complaints there. Needing to have to stay at the caravan park down south in Albury, and the astronomical cost they want to charge you it's just such a, that's a poor idea. To me, that's a really poor idea. Either somehow get a reserved bit of land inside the stock route that is right next to there, where you can then put a little small camping area, A-frame, picnic table, just what they've done everywhere else. That would be perfect in there, because in the stock route no one can access it anyway, because it's super quiet. They don't want you to camp there, but I'm sure if they looked at it, they could probably get, you know, it doesn't have to be large. It can just be like, you know, Lanky's, which is such a tiny bit of land, but that's all you need, right? So it's something they need to look into, and they need to look into the fact that Tabletop Campground has no camping signs there. It's a reserve, and they're saying no camping there, and that's not the only one. There was also one in Albury as well that had the same sign. So anything that was a reserve, they're not saying you can camp there. But on the website for Hume and Hovell, Tabletop is listed as a campsite. So I mean, I camped there. I ignored the don't camp there signs, but I mean, really, something they need to look into and make sure that, yes, you know, the through hikers can camp there, or no, you can't, and we need to do something else. But definitely their south end is something they need to look at. They need to have more options down there. There's less options. In fact, if they just put in more little campsites with tanks, that'll help the water situation as well. So it's something they need to look into for sure down that end. The north section, the middle section, there's so many options, and there's so much water, so you never have an issue. You never have an issue. So that's quite fine up there. Just down south, the moment you leave Lanky's. So Lanky's is down near the Holbrook area, so basically south of Holbrook, then you're on a different trail effectively. The trail behaves so differently to the rest of the trail there. So overall, it was alright. Yeah, the day of day 14, I did what I said I was going to do. I got up at 4. I was gone before 5. I'm sure the stars were still out, and it was night walking for a couple hours before daylight appeared, and I was in the outskirts of Albury by the time the sun came up. They did a pretty good job of trying to feed you through reserves and whatnot, but I mean, you're in town, so there was a lot of town walking. I mean, they took you up over the only hill in Albury. So that was alright. Good views from up there. And the walk along the walking along the edge of Murray to the tree itself, that is so busy. That's a super popular place for all the people who live there, obviously. It was crazy busy, but it's a nice area. So it was alright. They did a half decent job for the last day. For the fact that you're in town, they definitely fed you through as much bush as they possibly could. So they did try, you know, to take the mundane out of it and give you something to look at as you went along. So they did an alright job there. But it's town walking, you know. Like I say, if the track ends in town, it's only going to be, you know, there's junk miles there, but you can't get around that unless you stop it outside. So otherwise it was alright. I finished early. Had to have been around 12:30. I ceased walking at that point in time. I even got a taxi across to the airport, got my car and picked up my drop and went home and was lovely, showered and, you know, feeling better by, you know, 9 in the evening. So it was an alright day. So it was okay. So really, the overall experience, I have to say, the track has everything. The track has everything. The only thing it doesn't have is it doesn't have towns in the middle. That's the only thing it's missing. It would have been great if somehow they had fed you through something like Tumbarumba instead of out and away. But I mean, I'm not too sure if they could have done that anyway. So, but I mean, it would have been nice. I mean, Tumut was too far away. Tumut was like 25 k's away. So, you know, 20 k's away, still too far. But Tumbarumba's only 3 kilometres away from the actual trail at points. So it would have been nice to be able to feed you in there somehow, just so you had a trail that you could potentially, you know, if you're in a bit of a bind or, you know, you're just craving something, you could have accessed it. So that's the only thing. There's no trail towns. You're stuck. You leave a town, you finish in a town, there's nothing in between. And that's generally that's 425 k's. So 450 for me this time because I had the detour. Anybody who's watching this until October, think about postponing because the detour is not worth it to you. That detour is horrible. I know they've put out a map, but I don't think they've wrecked. They haven't done a recce of the first part of the map through the pine forest because there's a lot wrong there. I was bashing at some points through decimated pine forest where the road didn't exist, or taking roads I had to take because crossings weren't able to be crossed. So they probably need to look at that map. But if it was me now, look, I had it organised, so I wasn't postponing it because I'd booked everything, so it was a go. But if I was looking at doing it, you know, September, I would just postpone. I just wouldn't be doing it because I would not want to do that detour. So that's just something to think about if you're doing it up till, you know, October 2024. If after that, disregard all of this. So look, it was good. The rose-coloured glasses are on already. Like I say, it's type 2 fun. Looking back, I enjoyed quite a lot of it. Things worked, things didn't work, but that was all part of it. But overall, it was an enjoyable experience. So enough that I am already set planning my next one. So it didn't put me off doing any more walks like this. So my next one's even longer. It's 700. So but you know, that's a while off, but I'm already excited to go and do it. So, you know, in that respect, the Hume and Hovell Track did what it was meant to do. So it was tough, it was a bit of a fight, but it did what it wanted. It did what it had to do. It kept me entertained and kept me wanting more afterwards. So very good to them. So if you're looking to do the trail, for sure it's doable. You don't have to do it in the time that I did it. I've just discovered that that's how I do trails. I can't do 15 to 20k days and just live with doing that all the time. I have to walk a full day, which to me is 8 to 10 hours, and at my pace that's then 30 to near 40k's. So that's just how my days roll. So I never plan them for those, I always plan them shorter, but each time that's how they work out. So, but you don't have to. The couple that were in front of me, they started 2 weeks ahead, and I think looking at the last logbook and the fact that I jumped 2 days, they would have only finished 3-4 days ahead of me. And I'd say they hit all the huts and all the shelters that were there on their way down, so they would have done it a much cruisier way, which is perfectly fine. You hike your own hike, do it the way you like. So but it allows for that. The south end, I think they would have found that tough, because all of a sudden they were being forced into 30-kilometre days, or high 20s even. So that would have changed it up for them, and the lack of water would have made it hard for them as well, because they just would have camped alongside water every single night after doing 15 to 20 k's. So that's definitely doable. Anyway, that's about it. This will be the last little piece. This will be tacked on the end of day 14 as a bit of a closeout. So if you've watched all the videos, well done. Don't know if I'd stick in there that long. No, I probably would, so I enjoy watching videos like that. So yes, I would. Thanks for watching them all, and stay tuned, because there will be more long distance videos coming in the future, so keep an eye out. That will happen. So anyway, thanks for watching. Take it easy and enjoy your own hiking. See ya.